YouTube, what's going on? It is Thursday night, September the 13th. I had a couple videos made, but before I could get them uploaded, my iPad crashed. Does that about every 3 to 4 months. And then I need to restart it, and then when I do that, I lose everything. So I'm coming with 2 fresh videos. I'm going to do this video, which is going to be premium detailed Honda, and then I've got a green light video coming out. So we're going to start with these premium detailed Hondas, because this is something there's not a lot of out there in the world, especially here in the US of A. When you look at premium detailed brands such as Kyosho, which, as you can tell, this is not a Honda. This is a gorgeous Lexus. Lexus hybrid. All you hybrid fans are probably, this might be the nicest hybrid they've done outside of the P1. But Kyosho is one brand. One fantastic brand. I can't figure out why any collector of premium diecast wouldn't collect Kyosho. That is a baffling thought. Another brand is Tomica Limited Vintage. I feel the same way about this brand. I know they're expensive, but price is never an excuse not to collect a car. It's either, well, it's really just choice. It's just priority and choice, because if you can afford Hot Wheels, you can afford this stuff. It's just that instead of having 25 useless, non-exciting mainline Hot Wheels, you would have one very interesting looking, very highly detailed Tomica Limited Vintage car. So neither one is right or wrong. It's just that if you collect diecast of any kind, then money's not a legitimate excuse, in my opinion. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate for saying that, but it's just a matter of what you would rather have, where you would rather allocate your funds. But as I've always said, I would rather have one of these than 25 Hot Wheels any day of the week. So where I was going with that is Tomica Limited Vintage, as nice as they are, and they are nice, and Kyosho, as nice as they are, they don't do a lot of Honda, especially in comparison to the amount of Toyota and Nissan that they do. This is a great looking Mitsubishi Galant GSR. So anyways, with that being said, not a lot of premium detailed Honda out there, but there is some. So this is a Mini GT Honda Civic Type R. This is a brand new release. You can get these for around $7. It's a really nice car for $7, in my opinion. Not my color preference, but this is a factory OEM color. Look at these LED headlights. I've only got one other casting that has that, and it's a green light Chevy Silverado. Very nicely detailed. The lens taillights are very, very nice as well. So I would pick one of these up while you can. Rear defrost. I need to get the white one. They also do a GTR. I might pick one of those up just to compare it. But yeah, so this is one Honda. Very late model Honda. Trying to think of how I want to do this. So this is a Kyosho. Kyosho didn't do very many models for Honda. They did a Integra, which I don't have. This is the Honda City. This is a car that was recently popularized by Hot Wheels. Although this one is quite a bit nicer. I like the Hot Wheels one, but I prefer the detail to the bathtub toy personally. So anyways, this is your Honda City, one of the few Hondas that Kyosho did. Very nice lensed headlights and taillights, very nice prototypical wheels with rubber tires. Scale accurate, very nicely proportioned. Kyosho cars have almost perfect stances every time. So I've only got 3 Kyosho Hondas. As I said, they did the Integra, they did the City, they did this S800, which is a very nice classic Honda. It's a very tiny little car, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in detail. A very authentic looking replica. Almost hard to believe when you look at it that it's only 1:64 scale. The front end detail is amazing with the transparent lens headlights, the detailed grille with the indicators and the Honda badge, fender mounted side view mirrors. And like the Honda City, this one also has prototypical wheels with rubber tires and also has transparent lens taillights. So it is a very cool little roadster from Kyosho. And then the last Kyosho that I have is this Honda Civic hatchback. I don't know what year this is, but it's, I want to say 1982-ish. And this is pre-VTEC. This is dual overhead cam. Also prototypical wheels, rubber tires, very nicely detailed transparent headlights and indicators. And also transparent taillights with indicators and reverse lights. These Kyosho Honda cars are very hard to find. They didn't produce nearly as many of these as you see a lot of other Kyosho stuff. And that's why, you know, if you're looking to get into Kyosho, Ferrari is one of the best places to start because there's so much of it out there that the prices are relatively low. But these Hondas are going to probably start between 20 and 30 and then go up from there depending on what it is. But awesome diecast cars. This little thing is just so killer. All the weather stripping around all of the windows is very detailed. The stance on this one is perfect, just like every other Kyosho I've seen. Really nice roller. Really cool car. All right, so that's Kyosho. Another brand that dabbled with Honda, didn't do much Honda at all, but did do a few different cars, is Konami. They did a first-gen Civic. They did, I think, a second-gen Civic. What other Hondas did they do? They did the Prelude. And then they did a pre-Honda Civic hatchback that's real tiny. Those were the only Hondas that they did that I know of. The Prelude being my favorite of all of the Konami Hondas. So this car was available, as you see it here, in blue and also in red. Konami, like Kyosho, you get prototypical wheels, rubber tires with tread. It's metal body construction with plastic base. Most Konami have suspension, but the cars of the 80s cars do not. And this came from that Cars of the 80s set. Another thing, too, the Cars of the 80s sets, you got to be careful with the paint. The paint seems to have some issues compared to the older cars, the more classic cars that they do. But a very nice tooling. Very comparable to the Tomica Limited Vintage. I still think the TLV is quite a bit nicer. Much nicer build quality and fit and finish on the TLV. Plus the TLV, you do get sprung suspension. A rare car indeed is this Revell Acura Integra. I have a couple of different versions of this with this civilian deco, and then I've got this more custom look. Both of these are the same tooling. This one here does appear to have a little bit of play wear, but not much. Still a very nice car. This one here I cracked out of the package. It's just been on display since I got it. But these are prototypical wheels for this Type R Integra. And these are more of a custom wheel. Now, there is another brand that stopped by the hobby for a cup of coffee around 2002, and it's called X Concepts LLC. They had a series that they did called Customizers, who also did this same car, and I think that tooling is probably a little bit better than this one, but I really haven't seen, I've only seen a picture of it. It looked damn good though. It looked, from the picture, it looked nicer than the Revell. Here's an example of the Honda Accord that they do. This is an Accord Coupe. This is the only casting of its type in this scale. There is not another one out there. Johnny Lightning did a 4-door. Maisto did a 4-door. And I think that might be it for the Honda Accord. But this is for sure the only coupe that was ever produced in 1:64, which is really surprising considering how popular the Honda Accord was. Because even the 4-door, there aren't very many of those out there. A lot of Civics, though. A lot of Honda Civics. But, yeah, I love this car. This car was roped to me. And I dig it. It's definitely a collection keeper. And this one does have transparent lens headlights and tail lights. Dual exhaust. There's your lens headlights. Opening hood. Sorry, it wasn't called customizers. They were called modifiers. X-Concept modifiers. Very hard to find. You might be able to find these on eBay, but break out your checkbook because people ask a ton of money for these things. So that's a really cool car. I would definitely consider that a premium detailed Honda. And that really gets us down to the last three. One of my favorites. I did not get my Johnny Lightning CRX out for this video. I really don't think it's in the same class as all of these others. It's very nice, but it's a 1 to 55 scale, and it might even be bigger than that. So I'm okay with a little bit of variance, but that's just too much. So I like the casting. I have it. I display it, but I just don't find it worthy to be mentioned with these ones. Maybe it is. I don't know, but I'm not going to. This is a Tomica Limited Vintage Honda CRX. It's a very early first generation Honda CRX. 1983. Check out the lens taillight detail on this car. Prototypical wheels. Now this car is a metal body, metal base, very good quality, sprung suspension, very nice roller. Transparent lens headlights, factory two-tone paint job with factory colors. Very highly detailed interior. Awesome car. Love it. Also, this is the Prelude. I want to say this is this might be the 83. Maybe the blue Konami's an 85. I don't know. I don't remember. But the TLV, the detail on this one is definitely more refined. You can see the prototypical wheels there. Transparent lensed indicators there on the corner, painted indicators on the bumper, a very highly detailed diamond pattern grille with the Honda badge. One thing that it really doesn't have, surprisingly, well, it does have them, but they're molded into the bottom of the windshield. And they're very hard to see, and that's the wiper blades. But again, the interior detail on this car is sick. It's hard to see because it's black, but just an incredible amount of detail. And you've got the shifter with the emergency brake. It's just sick. I love these cars. One of these days, I'm going to take one of these apart just to see the construction. It's an expensive endeavor because these cars, if you get them right when they come out, you can get them as cheap as $20 to $25. But the longer that they're out, the more expensive they get. Because when they make a car like this one, they'll put it out in 2 colors, and it's a very limited production. And then once they're gone, and you got to wait until they release that casting again, which sometimes can take years. In fact, usually it takes years. before they do a casting over. So this Prelude is awesome. I don't know. I know it came out in red, white, dark gray, but I don't remember the other color. I think it might have been blue or black. I don't know. I don't remember. I like the red one, so I had the red one, the white one, and the gray one. But when I downsized, I chose one to keep. And while this is not the SI model, I had the white and the gray, which were both SI models, but I like this one better, so I kept this one. So there's that. And then my favorite TLV Honda, and this is probably a top 5 car in my entire collection. This is the Type R Honda Civic hatchback. These things got expensive quick. This came out originally in white as you see it and silver, and then they did another release with black and yellow. The black and yellow ones are between 60 and 100 a piece. The silver and white ones are between probably 40 and 60 a piece. They all have the same white wheels, though, the Type R wheels. Very highly detailed Type R prototypical wheels, which, while we're looking at those, they go hand in hand with these. This Integra has the same Type R wheels. But Revell didn't go to the trouble of putting the Honda badge on them. But at least they went to the trouble of doing prototypical wheels. You have to remember, this was a Honda Integra in Japan. But this car, such a nice car. Lens headlights and tail lights. It does have suspension, side view mirrors, rear spoiler. Have to be very careful with these rear spoilers. They are delicate. This is hands down one of the nicest 1:64 scale cars that I own. And that's why I put it in my top 5. Possibly top 3, possibly even number 1. You know, if I had to pick one car, the cars that I would get out: the silver Fox body from Greenlight, the silver Fairlady Z from TLV, this one, and I really like the G-Wagon. That one might make the top 5. I don't know. It's tough, but this one would certainly be in the mix on that. So, anyways, I think we can wrap up a Honda video so we can get on to the Greenlight video, because Greenlight is something that I really haven't looked at a lot of lately, and I feel kind of like I've cheated myself because, you know, Greenlight is my favorite brand. It's a great brand. There's so much good stuff to look at, but it has been fun. You know, looking at the Konamis, I think, was fun. I enjoyed looking at this stuff too. But just to recap, premium detailed Honda. And if you're one of those people that doesn't collect this type of stuff because you feel like it is too expensive, I know it can be overwhelming, but just get one and then, you know, wait a month budget one a month. By the end of the year, you'll have 12, and you'll have a nice little collection. I mean, here's the thing. Tomica Limited Vintage, I've only got 19 of those. So, I know they're expensive, and the price adds up quick. But, you know, you don't have to have a ton of them. Not like Lamley, where he's got, I don't know, probably a couple hundred of them, most of which he doesn't have to pay for, which is nice, to say the least. Kyosho, I do have more. I have about 62 or 63, but a lot of the Kyosho that I have, first of all, I didn't pay anywhere near for my Kyosho cars what I pay for the TLV. In most cases, they're half the price or less for me, because I'm able to find them from a local supplier. And I've traded for a lot of the Kyosho that I have, because I think I know more people that collect Kyosho that don't collect TLV. So, but anyways, there you go. Premium detailed Honda. Not a lot of this stuff out there, so the time to buy it is when you see it. Thanks for watching. I'll holler at you at the next video. We're going to look at some Greenlight 10s.